Hello and many thanks for staying with us. In a system where education is functioning well, we will agree that development and progress will take the right course. On the other hand, education makes us study politics. But the question is, should politics prevail in educational management? Excellent afternoon, viewers. Welcome to the RTWK show, Real Talk with Kike. I like calling it the RTWK show. My name is Marshall Anthony Ononye, and well, some people will be wondering why is Marshall hosting the show. Of course, inadvertently, Kike is not here, and Dami is as well not here. But you want to guess who is in the studio with me? If I let you take a guess, it could take the whole of the show. Ladies and gentlemen, I would have said with a standing ovation, make welcome Lola, one and only.
Yay! I thought there was going to be balloons and everything falling. Wow, I've sure missed everyone. How is everybody doing? Thank you so much for having me. And I've been gone for a while. Yes, you know, we have to do many things. But thank you, Kike. I'm happy to sit in while you're away. We do miss you and Dami, but I'm sure me and Marshall, we're well capable to carry the show.
Fantastic. Lola, it's a pleasure to, have you here. I've missed you.
I have missed you. I've told you that like 500 times since we've been seated.
Yes, and our viewers too have missed you because we've also had some people calling to say, where is she?
Lord.
And sometime we did promise them that we'll be bringing you on the set, and here is making good our promise.
Yes, you've done a good job.
Welcome.
Thank you.
All right, let's get back on course. We would take a look at our This Day in History, where we bring you excerpts of what happened on Today in History. So we call it the This Day in Today in History segment. So let's take a listen to this. Well, you have it. That's what happened some time ago on Today in History. It mirrors simply talking about, attacks and people having to flee from their homes. This is something that is one too many. We still have it ongoing. As a matter of fact, with the recent threat by the Boko Haram or the ISWAP, threatening to kidnap the president of the country, that has really heightened security concerns in the country. Lola, let me pick your brains on what you make of, because recently we hear that Lagos State was on the list of places to be attacked.
For a country that is grappling with economic crisis and a lot of crisis on all sides, almost every sector of the economy is suffering. And now we're seeing security threats get to a point that even those that are supposed to secure us are afraid. They're attacking convoys of military. They're going to their barracks. They're telling us that, hey, you guys don't have anything to protect yourself. And if they could even say, oh, we're going to attack the president's convoy. And they did.
They did.
That puts...
Twice.
That makes everybody really scared. Now kidnapping is, like it's something they do every day. Everybody's just wondering that, okay, where is it going to happen next? And to whom? That's what we're expecting. And everybody is doling out money to be able to bail themselves out of the kidnappers trap. And as long as money is going into that industry, I call it an industry now because it's thriving. We're in trouble in the country.
I was listening to the radio on my way here, and they were talking about this and the threat to attack Lagos. And some callers were like, oh, the threat isn't real. And also, even though the police have said, look, they've deployed machineries in the right appropriate places to ensure, to forestall such an attack. And, you know, people were saying, look, where would they attack and all of that? I thought to ask you, where are the installations you think, or the spots you think can be exposed to such attacks?
Lagos is a heavily populated area. It depends on what these people want to achieve. If they want to achieve carnage, we're looking at places like Iyanokpaja. A bomb in those areas, you know how closely cloistered the houses are in those places. The devastation will be mammoth. Or are we talking about commercial centers where we have banks, we have manufacturers, we have companies, congregated? If one bomb drops in those places, some high-rise buildings on the island will come crashing down. So those are very, very, we have NEPA installation. They can start to target, where we have transformers and things that power the entire grid. There's so many places.
Installations that
a
can
lot.
Be, yeah.
And now we have development all over Lagos. So you can imagine installations are going on everywhere.
Yeah,
if they just take over light.
I agree with you, Lolo. Really, Lagos, enormous places that can be attacked. Not wasting much of your time, let's take a word from our sponsors as they bring us a message. Take a listen. Welcome back. Now, the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASUU, Academic Staff Union of Polytechnics, ASUU, and Colleges of Education Academic Staff Union have warned the government against the establishment of new institutions while failing to fund the existing ones. Nigeria has a total of 49 federal universities. The official data from the National University Commission also revealed that the country has 59 state universities and 111 private universities. The National Board of Technical Education also puts the number of federal polytechnics at 40, state-owned at 49, and private at 76. The crux of the issue is not the number of higher institutions in the country, but the financing, infrastructure, and welfare of the academic and non-academic staff of these universities and the quality of education for our youth. On the show today, we have a political science, a scientist, and an activist who is also a stakeholder in ASUU. He will be analyzing with us the rationale behind the creation of new universities and the absence of priority as misplaced by the government. Let's take a snippet at his profile. We have Dr. Dele Ashiru with us, who, like I have said, is a political scientist and an activist. Welcome to the show, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon. Thank you for this invitation.
Can you hear us, sir?
Yes, I can hear
Dr. Ashiru, can you hear us?
I can hear you.
Okay, I think you're making use of the earpiece. If you can hear me, Dr. Ashiru, would like you to take away the earpiece and possibly that could work. Can you hear us now? Can you disconnect it from your device? Can you hear now?
Yes, I can hear you.
You can hear now? Fantastic. It's good to have you join us on the show. It's the Real Talk with Kike show, and you're live. Welcome to the show, sir.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, sir. Now, we would like to, first of all, start off with basic question, which is the word on the street, the question on everybody's lips is why more universities when we are grappling with funding the ones that we have. We're grappling with the satisfaction of the academic staff and non-academic staff, and then it births the incessant strikes that we are currently suffering from. And then what we hear next is agenda and policies to establish more tertiary institutions. What do you think would be responsible for this initiative?
Well, thank you very much. The first is that we have the ruling elite that is confused. A ruling elite that doesn't seem to know what it means to have universities that are globally competitive and universities that can drive development in our society. It is laughable, to say the least, that a government that cannot fund the existing universities have turned establishment of universities to constituency projects, such that in every village and in every cocoon, there's the desire to establish a university. But the reasons are not far-fetched. You know, when you establish a new university, first is a conduit pipe for state resources and state finances. Not only that, it's also job for the boys. Because when you establish new universities, you have vice chancellors, you have members of governing council appointed by government, all of them with official cars, with fat salaries and all that. So they will rather satisfy the dictates of their friends and cronies rather than take decisions in the interest of the people for whom they swore to, take care of their welfare and defend their interests. So establishment of universities, first as constituency projects, and second as money for the boys and creating jobs for their friends and cronies.
Dr. Ashiru, for your answer to that question. I'm wondering that why now? Why is it that this discussion or this creation of new universities is coming on at this time that ASUU is on strike? Is it that the government want to have, they want to knock horns together with ASUU by goading them with this creation of new universities?
No, well, our union is unperturbed. Government can create as many universities as they care to. Our own demands are unshakable. They are inimitable, and we are determined to get government to do what is right this time around. But to answer your question very directly, it's a manifestation of the insensitivity that goes on, at the highest level of government. And also an eloquent testimony to the fact that we do not have a democracy in Nigeria, properly speaking. Because if we do, and politicians and the political elites consider people's votes as sacrosanct and as important, they will not take decisions that cross purposes with the desires of the people. You can see that there seems to be no urgency on the part of all relevant agencies of government and institutions of government to bring a closure, to the protracted strike by ASUU. Rather than concentrate effort on doing that, you could see that They are more concerned in areas where their interests lie rather than the interest of the children of the working and poor people of this country. Well, a lie may tarry for a long while, but the truth shall prevail. The truth is that those in government and those who represent people in governance and in government don't prioritize their interests and don't care about how they feel in terms of policy making and policy implementation.
Doctor, in the instance where ASUU is not on strike, in the instance where universities and tertiary institutions are well funded, in the instance where we do not have the universities producing half-baked graduates, in the instance where everything seems to be okay, do you think the tertiary institutions we have currently might have a need for expansion in terms of serving the population, the number of people we have in Nigeria? So in clear terms, do you think there would have been need for more universities?
Well, that's a very tricky question. Certainly, institutions of learning cannot ever be enough. It's not enough anywhere. But the conditions precedent for establishing universities, ought to be met. And that is the reason why our union is insisting that government must do what is right. But the way to answer that question is that the emphasis we place on university education in Nigeria is becoming obsessive and alarming. In serious societies, only a country of the population should be able to make it to universities. Other candidates who are qualified, if government policies are right, ought to also go to polytechnics, go to monotechnics, specialized institutions, colleges of education. What we have in Nigeria today is that the bulk of those who go to colleges of education, universities of education, are those who seem not to be able to make it into their first choices of study. And then because they must go to a university, because in Nigeria, your life is defined by attending a university. It shouldn't be so. As I speak to you, in some universities outside Nigeria, the salaries of football coaches, and baseball coaches are much more competitive than those of some professors in those institutions. But in our society, you are not considered a complete human being or a successful human being until you make it to a university. So the right government policy should be to de-emphasize, universities. Universities are important, but also we must expand capacities in polytechnics, in monotechnics, in specialized, colleges and institutions relevant in those areas, colleges of education, and also not, make all students write a unified exam. It is not done anywhere in the world. And that is why we have so many graduates who are really not doing anything. So we need to rethink government policies. It has to do with the discrimination attached to certificates at higher level, so that, candidates can be encouraged to go to a diverse array of tertiary institutions where they can be directly relevant to society. This emphasis on universities and its creation and making it a constituency project, cannot help Nigeria's development. Jonathan came, established a university in Otuoke. Buhari is here, established a university in Daura, or some universities in Daura. When another university comes from, another president or whoever comes from another place, they put a university there. That's not what universities are meant to be. And lastly, we can also expand the capacities of the universities that we currently have. Majority of our our universities, because of poor funding, are not operating at optimal capacity. The first generation universities are eloquent examples to this assertion. They are still operating far below capacity. And the human capacity also needed to function in all of these universities that they are creating are not there. As I speak to you in Nigeria today, the entire academic staff in Nigeria is not up to 70,000. And count the number of universities that we have. In some universities, as I speak with you, only 2 lecturers are there teaching courses from year 1 to 500 level. And when ASUU complain, they say they have come with their trouble again. Is that how to run a university? So yes, universities, tertiary institutions can never be enough. But even our policies at the tertiary level are not right. They are not consistent with global best practices. And, students and candidates should also be encouraged to take tertiary education at other sectors, in the tertiary level, polytechnic, monotechnic, specialized colleges and institutions,
all right, then.
colleges of education, etc.
All right, then. Lola.
All right, thank you so much, Dr. Ashiru. I followed very closely all the things that you have said. We know that our education system is really operating below par. And that's why I'm wondering that if these private universities are allowed, it is your colleagues that will be teaching there. That means if we're saying that, okay, would this not be creating more opportunities for those that want to move to earn more? Because private universities, definitely, the tuition fee is higher than what you would obtain in maybe state or federal universities. Won't you say this would help maybe the lecturers to be able to get better jobs if we have more private universities? So it will not be a matter of choice. Maybe if you want to earn more, you would work with private universities. And if you want to just go give in to your passion, you will probably work for federal or state universities.
Unfortunately, the private universities pay far more less. In spite of the humongous fees that they collect, they pay less. The best of them pay what is paid in public universities. And they cannot complain. People who work there cannot complain because they are not unionized. And you can see what we talk about government policies. How can you collect humongous salaries, humongous tuition from students and pay lecturers their peanuts? Most of those private universities that you see, they are today open because they rely on retired, aged, old, adjunct lecturers. None of them can pay competitive wages and salaries to attract the best brains in the public institutions. When they were to license private universities, what we were told was that they will pay better. But in reality, as I speak with you, they get far more less. But those who teach there cannot complain. 1, because they are not unionized. 2, because government has placed embargo on employment in public universities, both federal and state. And if they can't find any other thing to do, they accept the slave wages that they received in the so-called private universities. And unfortunately, the regulatory agencies turn a blind eye to this slavish situation in private universities. They don't pay commensurately well.
Okay.
Yeah, I was going to ask, is this a systemic problem, or would you say is the Nigerian factor that is affecting the private universities from not paying well?
When you say Nigerian factor, what would you be referring to?
When you say Nigerian factor, you're talking corruption and all those other unmentionables that make all these things not work. Because I would be of the opinion, I'm really surprised that Dr. Ashiru is saying that private universities don't even pay so well. I would have thought this would make a lot of lecturers, find alternative employment that is better paying for them.
Why are you surprised? You are a journalist. Research into it. Invite anybody from any of the private universities, in fact the best, and ask them, and I am on air, I dare any one of them, including their proprietors, to publish how much they pay lecturers in their respective universities. So I am being factual. And that also tells you the very dangerous situation in our country. Yes, it's a systemic problem because those who are supposed to regulate what they do there collect bribes and kickbacks from the universities and consequently don't do what is right. Look, let me tell you, when our union entered into a partnership with the National Universities Commission on Accreditation, the people recommended by our union went around the universities, and when they gave them bribes, as they often did, our union returned the money back to NUC. Since that time, none of those who returned the money has ever been invited for any accreditation in any Nigerian university. So what are we talking about? Yes, it's Nigerian factor, the system is corrupt, regulation is poor, or non-existent in this. Look, if NUC is living up to its billing, you won't have all of these glorified secondary schools mushrooming as universities. So the truth be told, they get far more less. Some are owed several months of salaries. The private universities, only 2 or 3 lecturers will take all the courses from year 1 to year 4. Some departments are kept aloof by hiring retired, tired, old, visiting and adjunct lecturers to keep their universities going.
Let's not take it that it's all gloom and doom for private universities, because at least they've got one thing going for them, the fact that they haven't got incident strikes and all of that, and we see them
universities is not about not going on strike. It's about the quality of instruction and the faculty. A university is known by its faculty. If you don't go on strike and a group of students are taught from year 1 to year 4 by 3.5 people, do you say that one is going for them?
On track, so it doesn't appear it doesn't appear that the show is just focused on making a disparity or comparison between private universities and that of the public. Let's bring in the viewers at this juncture. Doctor, if you may, would like our viewers watching us to call us from wherever you're watching us. Call us and let's have your thoughts. We're talking about the proposal to create more universities, over 60 of them, as has been endorsed by the National Assembly. I don't know if it's still at the proposal stage, yes, but what it is it's already, I think, approved already, or rather, a policy that's already approved. I don't know what the signals I'm getting, but I think we need to take a very quick break, and then we'll come back. Phone lines would be buzzing, and Dr. Ashiru will still be here with us, and my very, very lovely friend, Lolo. Stay with us, we'll return. Back, Lolo, we're back on air, yes. And this is the segment where we dive in further in full throttle. Our guest is Dr. Dele Ashiru, who's a political scientist and a social commentator as well as an activist. We're talking about the proposal to create more universities, and we hear that this has already been on the floor of the National Assembly and even has gotten to approval stage. We'd like our viewers to be a part of this. Call us and let's have your 1 cent on the matter. What do you make of this? ASUU is still on strike, and we hear that ASUU has just, extended its strike by 1 month. That's one question I'd really like to ask Dr. Ashiru, who is a part of ASUU. Doctor, are you still with us?
I am here, thank you.
Now, ASUU has extended its strike by 1 month, its industrial action by 1 month. And some concerns some people are having is 1 month seems rather appalling for the fight and the cause of the fight. I mean, one would have expected ASUU to, after this period of strike, to have come up with a very strong statement. Extending the strike for 4 weeks seems to be like, I mean, you're joking. You know, what sense do you make of this extension?
I'm surprised that our decision comes across to you as if we are jokers. No, we are not. You see, our union is a union of intellectuals. And that is why we don't operate by the expectation, by popular expectation. We operate by facts. Now, how did we arrive at the decision to roll over the strike for 4 weeks? You will recall that 2 weeks ago, the president, for the first time since we commenced the strike action, met with what they call all relevant agencies, responsible for bringing the strike to a close. And a critical decision came out of that meeting. The Minister of Labor was identified as a stumbling block in the renegotiation process, and the president gave him a boot. He kicked him out. That has paved the way for an unhindered, behind the scene, progressive and meaningful discussion between our union and government, devoid of Ngige's bravado, insults, innuendos, and his larger-than-life personality. So our union took cognizance of that progressive move. Secondly, our union took cognizance of the overwhelming support which Nigerian workers gave to our union by turning out en masse for the NLC protest, on Tuesday and Wednesday last week, to compel government, to do what is right. We also took cognizance of the support we received from our teaming students, in ensuring that government behaves responsibly for the first time. Our union
I would like to crave your indulgence on that, because I was happy you mentioned your support that you got from the students. It's been 7 months.
No, hold your thought.
Yeah.
Let's take Friday from Edo
Okay,
State.
we have a caller. We'll be back.
He's been on hold.
Oh, yes.
Friday, can you hear us?
Very well.
Friday, welcome to the show.
I'm 100% with Ashiru, Dr. Ashiru, on what is said about our university in Nigeria here. Mostly that area of lecturers that are taking peanuts in our private university and they are not doing the needful. Just for example, like our secondary school, we have a mushroom secondary private school we have now in Nigeria here. They recruit lecturers or teachers that are not qualified and they are actually giving the peanuts. That is the area I'm very, very close to Ashiru on what he's saying. That is my comment, please.
Thank you very much, Friday from Edo State. Lola, okay, you can
All
proceed.
right. Yes, I was just about to ask that. You said the students are in support. Now it's been 7 whole months of ASUU strike. What would you say is going to be the lot of the students themselves? A whole year of academic school closure, wasted time, wasted life. They're getting older. How are they going to ever get this back? Even if ASUU breaks through on this, but a whole year has been wasted for the students themselves. What would you say would be it would be for them moving forward?
It is not correct to say that the period students are waiting for this crisis to be resolved is wasted. It is not wasted. That we still have public universities in Nigeria today is consequent upon our struggles. Please, I tell you this today and mark it. Should our union allow this irresponsible government to do what they are planning to do, 80% of those students cannot come back to the university. How many of our students can pay 750,000 naira tuition in any public university in Nigeria? How many of them who are in the sciences can pay 1 million, as it is being proposed by some hawks in government? So the struggles of our union is to keep public universities in Nigeria alive. It is the challenge that we give to government all the time. Otherwise, public universities would have gone the way of public primary and public secondary schools. Come to think of it, when we go on strike and we resume, we get new teaching aids, new teaching facilities for our students, we get them expanded classrooms, we get them decent hostel accommodation for our students,
Ashiru.
and then we'll ensure
Dr. Ashiru, Dr.
Yes,
Ashiru,
please.
we have Dr. Obasanjo from Osun State live to us. He's one of our viewers and he's just called to contribute. Obasanjo, let's have your contribution.
Hello, what do you think?
Let's have your contribution.
Yeah, my contribution is that I didn't think the senators' children are in this one we are talking about in Nigeria, or this university. I believe they will know what to do. And I always say this, the lecturer at the from primary school, they are the people, I mean, they are the workers, that there should be any good salary, more than Nigeria. Because they are the one who will teach the doctors, they are the one who will teach the all these senators people we are talking about. I didn't think they have students in those universities. They will know what to do. Last year, this same thing happened. They have to go for strike almost 9 months, and now almost 6 months now. And the best thing is that all the Nigerians should support them. I have 2 graduates that they just finished at university. They're supposed to have mobilized them since January. Now they are at home, doing nothing.
All right, thank you. Thank you. Well,
thank you.
I mean, ASUU support, NLC has also demonstrated its overwhelming support for the ASUU strike. But Doctor, what I want to take home from what your last speech banned is the fact that the 2 weeks ultimatum given to President Muhammadu Buhari, which before now I didn't make much of it. But having a discussion with you right now, you are saying that there seems to be work in progress in the negotiations with ASUU and the federal government, given the 2 weeks ultimatum. Is that what you're saying in clear terms?
Oh, yes. Yes. I am reiterating that the Minister of Education is working assiduously and engaging in a frank discussion with our union, unlike what Dr. Kike was doing before the presidential order. So we are very hopeful, because we are also not strike mongers. It is only because it is absolutely necessary, that's why we go on strike. Now that there are frank discussions, there are meaningful engagement between our union, and the federal government, we are hoping that within this 4-week window, government should do what is right to enable our union review its current position. So our decision is based on rationality.
Is there a statement from ASUU? Is there a statement from ASUU regarding the creation of universities? Is there a statement from ASUU?
No, we have more serious issues to battle with than what government, whether they want to create. They will create it anyway. Our union has always been opposed to creation of universities, unbridled creation of universities, but because we have lawmakers that are insensitive and insensate, they do it with impunity. And the regulatory agency acquiesce when they are doing it. So ASUU is not the regulatory agency for government. It's just a pressure group and a trade union.
All right then.
So our position remains unchanged. We are against proliferation unbridled proliferation of universities at whatever level, whether public or private.
I think I agree with you. That's what it is, unbridled proliferation of
Yes.
universities. Would you like to take any other swipe?
No,
Otherwise, we move to the next segment.
We'll just move to the next segment because I was going to ask about proper regulation of these private universities when they do come to fore. Who would you rather be? Would you think that the regulatory body needs to be changed, or what needs to be addressed in that particular area? Because whether we like it or not, new universities will be created. So what do we do about regulation of these universities?
Before you answer that question, we have a caller who's live to us, and we didn't quite, okay, we lost that caller. We'll just take that. Doctor, let's have you answer this question in 60 seconds.
Well, what we need to do is to strengthen the regulatory agency, in this case, the National Universities Commission. And until that, although our union is currently working with that commission to amend the NUC Act so that it can play a more significant role in establishing universities. Until that is achieved, all that we can do is to continue to strengthen that institution to be able to prevent all this very reckless, proliferation of universities in every corner of people's ward and constituency.
Right. I want to say a very big thank you very much. We've been discussing with Dr. Dele Ashiru, who's a political scientist and an activist. He's also a political social commentator. And we've been discussing the proposal to create more universities despite the strike of the Academic Staff Union of Universities that we are currently experiencing. And Doctor, I want to say a very big thank you for your brief on this program. But before we let you go, we would like you to be a part of us as we segue into the next segment of the show we call Trending. That is the segment where we discuss some trending issues that interests us all. If you do not mind, I hope, Doctor, you're still there.
I am here.
All right.
Thank you for the invitation.
Yeah.
Thank you.
The first on the trending segment, Lolo, the first trending story is on the vigilance advised as terrorists infiltrate southern region of Nigeria, especially as the news just broke last night that there was a kidnapping, terrorist attack on Enugu-Port Harcourt highway, where the terrorists besieged the road and blocked the road. And I think people in 2 buses were kidnapped. So here is more or less giving life to the threat to attack some other parts of the country. Lolo, what do you make of this?
I am worried. I am so worried because now they have audacity, they have the effrontery to give us heads up. And you're wondering what our security agencies are doing with the information that goes out. Half of the time when you get information on security threats, we're supposed to see proactive measures being put in place. But we find out that we just hear about these threats. Is it that the government wants the populace to secure themselves? And there's so much that can go wrong. Imagine if everybody now starts to harm themselves with guns and ammunition to be able to protect their lives and property. Will we not be falling into chaos? What are the southern region going to be doing? Because we've seen what is happening in the north. It's been going on for so long. They've gotten a foothold over there. And now they're saying they're coming to the south. I don't think we should take it as business as usual. We should come out and do something. We can't just hear this as maybe mere propaganda and everybody just goes on like business as usual.
Right.
Until something major happens, then everybody comes back.
Let's hear from the ASUU stalwart, Dr. Dele Ashiru. Are you with us? Doctor, we lost the connection with Dr. Dele Ashiru, but hopefully if we get to reconnect with him, we'll just take his 1 cent on this matter. For me, before we started the show, we had touched a little bit on that, talking about striking at Lagos, the threat to strike and kidnap the president as well. It's something that we have said time without number that there isn't really any significant action we have seen in place. from the... I like the fact that the police in Lagos State had responded, that they had deployed men and machineries to appropriate quarters to forestall the occurrence of any
Where
attack.
are these quarters?
I mean...
Because sometimes, you know what just saddens me is that we talk about these things and we're looking for these things. We're supposed to feel a heavy presence of the security agencies all around us. And very sensitive areas, there should be more patrols. There should be so much.
You know, need I remind you, Lolo, when it was said, let me bring this up, IPOB and ESN activities, when you hear a little activity, little news on the camp of the IPOB in the southeast, what would you see? You'll see Operation Python dance, you see show of force and all of that. So I'm suspecting that's the kind of activity you want to begin to see, the show of force and all of that.
Yeah,
right?
I'm saying police urge Lagosians to be vigilant as terrorists infiltrate the South. We should be vigilant. Vigilant doing what? No, I am wondering that, okay, vigilant means you're just looking to the left, to the right, you're looking at all around you. Even if something happens, how do you protect yourself?
All right. Let's saunter into the next trending story. Nigerians, what do you make of this? Would like you to comment on our social handle. Just look for us on Real Talk with Kike and drop your comment there. Would like to hear what you make of this. Our second trending story, Okowa says Obi has no experience for presidency. Okowa is saying that Peter Obi of the Labour Party has no experience whatsoever to become president. Lolo here is already laughing.
Yeah, you have to laugh because when it's time for elections, you're going to be seeing a lot of poetic things happening. Everybody will come out and say what they think is their truth, and all you can do is laugh. How do even those that say they have experience? How has the populace? What have we gained from their experience? They keep saying that, oh, these people that we put in governance for so long, we're putting them because they have experience, they've been at it for a long time. So what did we gain? So even if this is supposed to be something to cast aspersion on Peter Obi, I don't think so. I would say that this would even give people the impetus to believe that, okay, he has no experience, then let him learn on the job. This is like campaigning for him as far as I'm concerned. Because if you're coming from the pedigree of experience has gotten Nigerians nothing. So why don't we let this guy learn on the job? Maybe he's actually working with the Peter Obi's PR group by saying this statement, because I don't see any negatives in it.
You got me laughing there when you said, let him learn on the job.
Exactly.
You got me laughing there. Nigerians came out en masse in 2014 and 2019 to campaign and elect the current administration as led by President Muhammadu Buhari. And in that singular act birthed the current situation, the current economic mishap, the current security downfall, the current downward trend in our educational sector. I also campaigned and worked towards the success of this current installation of this current administration. Do I regret it? Well, you might want to watch the rest of the Real Talk with Kike, previous editions of Real Talk with Kike show to find out my stance on this. Nigerians really had a hope in this man coming from the campaign as an anti-corruption crusader, coming from, someone said we voted a general and we got a president. I don't know what to make of that. And if Mr. Peter Obi has no experience whatsoever, and if I should go by what Lolo is saying, that he should then be given a chance to learn on the job because experience has done no one any good. Listen to President Muhammadu Buhari himself, who says he's even tired of the job and can't wait. This is someone who had so much experience.
Have you not seen the position of our president? Half of the time when you make all these big statements, he just maintains his calm and his cool.
That's experience.
That's experience, sitting like a dog.
Lola, I feel like giving you a very big hug from this end.
Oh,
but I guess we'll do that behind the camera when the curtains are drawn. It's been a wonderful time with you on the set today.
I had such a marvelous time being on the seat again. It feels really fresh and refreshing.
Yes. And I'd like to say a very big thank you to all those who called in. All those who called in, we couldn't take your call. Not to worry. Join us same time next week as we hope to bring you another interesting edition
On
of The Real
Thursday.
Talk with Kike on Thursday. I beg your pardon. Of course, you can still join us next week as well. But before that, next week, there's Thursday. And we'd like to say to our host and producer, Kike Lomo Atanda-Owo, we want to say we love you so
Yes.
much. And Dami, we're missing you. Kike, so rest well. Moses is saying rest well.
I hope Kike rests. We want you to rest. That's why we took the job to sit on your seat for you. So make sure you come back to us very refreshed and yellow.
You know that girl is a workaholic.
I know. She's not resting. I can see her. Oh, she'll be shaking that her head.
Lola used to be a workaholic. Used to be everywhere. Movies, soaps, and all that.
I know, but you know sometimes you need to take a step back and smell the flowers.
Well. My name is Marshall Anthony Onoya, and she is.
Omotune Adeboale David. You can call me Lolo One.
Together we're saying
Bye.
bye-bye.